Welcome in everyone to the Blue Demon Room podcast. We are so excited to bring you stories of student athletes, coaches, and alumni. However, today you'll notice there's just two of us here. Just Jenna Duddleston.
Hi.
And myself, Kacy Standahar, the hosts of the show in season 2. And we realized that that's a little bit weird, but we wanted our audience to get to know us a little bit better because, we're hosting this show and people who might be watching who are new might be like, who are these girls? So I feel like it's a good time to be a little selfish.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible.
No, I get what you're saying. And I think too, I jumped into season 2. I think there was a little bit of I think we flowed really great together, but also who am I? And that's completely fair.
Right.
It's okay if you don't
but
know
you have
me.
a great connection to DePaul, which we'll get into. But we both are journalists. We both have been working in sports media for a while. And Jenna, when we were thinking about a host for the show as a co-host, it was funny because I was thinking about a lot of people and I was talking with Sonia, our producer, about it too. And then I was like, oh my God, I should just ask Jenna because she's a DePaul alum, a South Side girl. It just hit me over the head. You're the perfect person for this job. And you do podcasting.
Yeah.
So I'm just so glad that you were available and said yes.
Can I tell? I actually don't think I've ever told you this story. So only because we've been talking about spooky stuff, right? So I feel like this kind of ties into it. So I have a tarot card lady reader. Okay.
Jenna has a lot of people.
I have a lot of
people. A lady
people.
for everything.
I got a guy or a lady for everything. Okay. I found her on TikTok 2 years ago from a reference of a American living in Paris. Okay. Follow me here. So I have done now 2 readings with her. 2 or 3 readings. The last reading I got done, she said, you're going to have a really great opportunity be presented to you in August. And at first you might be a little hesitant, but you absolutely need to take this. This is going to be great. And it's going to help you kind of get your flow and rhythm back.
Yeah.
And then you called me literally, I think it was August 2nd or 3rd.
Wild.
And I was like, I got to text my girl, Kim. And
she was right.
And she was right. And so I was so happy when you asked me to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous just because I am an alumni. I was excited. I think you and I are friends first. So I was I want to work with you, but I also don't want to do anything that would ruin our friendship.
No.
And, that we had talked about that. But when you asked, I was like, no, this is going to be so much fun. We're going to have a blast. And we get to go back to college. This is going to be great. And I've been having such a blast doing this with you.
Yeah, it's been great. And DePaul has been so great to me in my career. I mean, I started out doing sideline for softball and Big East baseball and Big East basketball and stuff like that. And so just the school, the conference as a whole has been awesome to me. And I know it meant a lot to you when you were in school here. So it was just the right opportunity. And I'm so glad we're doing this show together. And I think you do your own show of your own, and which is, more to come. But you were kind of holding off for a while in that period of I'm going to start this up again, but not yet. And this is the perfect little kick.
This feels like it's honestly, I told one of my friends about the opportunity and I was nervous. I think I was just really hesitant. And she looked at me and she's that brass friend that we all need in our life.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to get your sea legs back. Go back out there. You're going to love this. You're going to do great. She's like, why wouldn't you want to do this? And I was like, you're right. I'm so in my head right now. I need to get out of my head.
I thought you might have been too busy because we are very busy. But I want to know more about, I know a lot about you, but for our audience, growing up on the South Side, how did you kind of grow up and what brought you to DePaul?
Yeah. That's a loaded question. Okay. So I always felt like my upbringing was normal. And then you realize when you meet other people, it's not. So the best way to describe myself is my family owns one of the oldest Irish pubs in the city. It's Shinnick's Pub. It's been in my family since 1938. So most kids went to a daycare after school. I went to a pub and sat next to Uncle Edgar, who would drink Old Style in a pint with pepper because pepper keeps the head of a beer. And
never knew that.
Fun facts, guys, for you. Your bartender's filled with them. When Uncle Edgar passed away, God rest his soul, I want to say I was 12, and I remember I was distraught at the funeral, and my mom's like, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what is it, Mom? She's like, he's not your uncle. And I said, what do you mean?
Trauma.
No.
Immediate trauma.
So I'm already crying, and I'm really sad. She's like, she goes, well, you just always called him Uncle Edgar your whole life, and we didn't want to tell you that he wasn't, but Jenna, we have no blood relation to this man. So like, I feel like that's kind of my upbringing in a nutshell. I'm from Bridgeport, so ironically, again, on the south side compared to like DePaul being on the north side, but large family, very like family-based upbringing. I was an athlete. My dad, for anyone who's from Chicago and knows the lore, my dad was a big 16-inch softball player, which is like a big thing in itself.
Yeah.
And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, I'm not going to explain it. Like, just
Right.
go look it up. But I just loved sports. I think it's hard when you live in the city of Chicago to not be a diehard sports fan. And so not only was I a volleyball player and I wanted to be an athlete and I wanted to work really hard to get a college, scholarship and potentially be a national championship and be an All-American. My path to it and to like getting to DePaul is really kind of unique. And I think I went a little bit all over the map, as you know. But I got recruited to play volleyball down at Barry University in Miami, Florida. It's a Division II school. And the crazy part about that is one of my like childhood best friends and I both got recruited together and had no idea.
Wow.
Our parents grew up dating each other. Like they would like double date. So we had no idea that we were getting recruited. We go down there and to make a very, very long story short, it was a horrific year. I had a very verbally abusive and like narcissistic coach. I'm 18 years old. You're on your own for the first time. You don't realize that like this isn't normal. And also it's like all I've wanted my entire life. I was like, all I've wanted is to like be on the court and like winning games and doing this thing. And like there were many things where it didn't happen, that door. Well, I should also add in when I was down in Miami, I had like a crazy kind of horrific thing that happened. So within 6 weeks, I tore my wrist. And so that happened. That was one of the dominoes that fell. Second domino, I got my scholarship taken away on like no grounds. They just like removed it, revoked it. And then very human thing, I got my heart broken for the first time by a man that I really, 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 really liked. And so I always say
That's a lot at like 19, 18.
I was 18, so I always say I was broken like mind, body, and soul, and I didn't know how to deal with it because no one tells you how to deal with any of this stuff, right? So I was like, okay, we're just gonna not deal with it. Very Irish Catholic way of dealing with things. We push our problems under the rug and deal with them later when the things stacks up.
Right.
But now fast forward to I get recruited by Southwest Minnesota State University, which was one of the top Division II volleyball programs in the country. When I got there, we were ranked number 3. And I was like, I want to win. I am ready. Like, get me out there. And I think as much as my mind was ready, my body was still like, hey, you just had a traumatic injury. You literally just got cleared to practice like 4 weeks ago and it's preseason. And to go from like being at 0 to expecting to be at like 120% is just really hard.
Yeah.
Minnesota is some of the greatest years of my life. I loved it. I had a lot of relapses. I also think I knew I just like wasn't going to play. And then this started, like us doing this. I got to do a really cool project with ESPN with their E60. And I remember like, I was like recording the camera and I got to see my shot like on ESPN and they spelled my name wrong and it was awesome. It was awesome.
I have a similar story like that.
Yeah, they got my credentials wrong. They wrote my name Jonah Dubulesoston, JONNADUBBELESTONE. It's not even in the same zip code. And then I was so excited to see my name on television that I didn't realize that they forgot the J in Jenna. But I knew I wanted to do this. I knew I loved the power of storytelling. I knew I loved connecting with athletes and talking to them. And it was a really hard decision to like hang it up, because I think when I got to Minnesota, and again, I could do like a whole story on Minnesota, but like that place healed me in a way that I didn't realize I needed. And so when I got, when I left Minnesota and I was like, I think I'm just going to like hang it up, and I loved DePaul. I had some friends who went here and I came in, did a visit. And it was funny, like I finished and I wasn't enrolled in the fall. Like I had no enrollment signed up. And me and my mom did a visit here and I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I want to do. I thought about playing like what I want to, because actually one of my old teammates was playing and a girl I used to play against, and she actually yelled at me the one day. She's like, Jenna, go in the locker room, put on spandex right now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, but I think, you know, there's something to like my heart wasn't in it anymore. Like, and I knew this was what I wanted to do. And
So you went into like a journalism.
fully, like I fully committed to the journalism program here. And I used kind of my like athlete mindset upbringing of like, we're just going to put all of this into school. Right. So I was psychotic in the best way that you can be. Rick Brown, shout out Rick Brown. If anyone has Rick Brown classes, man, yeah, he's great. And, but all of my professors at DePaul, and they all really helped, I think, prepare me in different ways. And they did a great job too of like, I think letting me be me, because, you know, it's easy to be like, we want you to become this.
Yeah.
But I think what the university did and all my professors did was like, you are who you are. Now we're going to give you the tools in the toolbox to just elevate you. And so you can do everything that you want to do in this field.
I feel that way about our entire staff.
1000%.
In this room, like everyone's studying film, journalism, whatever it is. Like I meet the coolest people that are DePaul students. I mean it. I'm not just saying that. Like,
I think DePaul is like low key the most underrated like university out there. And I'm not just saying that because I went there. Like there's so many like crazy people doing successful things that went to DePaul that you like wouldn't know about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's like actors, musicians, whatever. So awesome. That's a great kind of like
understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about you really quick. Okay. So you're raised in Youngstown, Ohio. What was it like growing up there? And I guess how did you get your footing into sports? Because you have a cheer and dance background, right?
Yes. I was like a dancer, cheerleader all my life. I did play softball for a little bit, but wasn't very
That's
good.
okay.
So,
It's okay. It's okay.
Went the dancer, cheerleader route, and I loved performing. I loved being on stage. I was like, this is what I want to do. I love when, you know, you're on stage, the red light goes on, like that moment. I was like, this like brings me joy. And I was a competitive dancer for my whole life. But then I went to school and I thought I wanted to be a teacher. My mom was like, don't do it. Like my mom was a special education teacher for 30 years and she was great at her job, but she was like, don't do it. Education's changed so much. Like, don't do it. So I was like, well, I don't know what I like. I'm not good enough to be like on a cruise ship dancing or on So That You Can Dance or Dancing with the Stars. Like, what am I going to do? And so I went into writing and journalism because I knew I liked to write. I wanted to be an English teacher. So I was like, I'll just do this. And I'll write for like Teen Vogue or...
Yeah.
My dream jobs were like Teen Vogue, the Chicago Tribune. Like, you know, I wanted to be like a writer. That was like my goal.
Were you a big How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days person? Like, was Andy Anderson your inspiration? Yes.
Andy Anderson, and what's the show about the woman in Minnesota that was a reporter? Oh gosh, it's like an old show. I'm blanking on it.
I don't know.
She has a statue where she's like throwing the... I'll think of it.
We'll figure...
People who are watching are going to be like, it's this! And I'm going to be like really embarrassed. But yeah, like I was inspired by like journalists and TV and movies. I was like, this is like what I want to do. And then I had an internship at a news station, a TV station. And I was like, oh, like, cause print was kind of dying when I graduated. I'm aging myself, but like people were like not reading newspapers anymore or magazines anymore. It was all going online. Instagram had just come out. This was 2013, everybody.
Yeah. My mom told me about Instagram through a
That's
magazine, like top 10 apps you should download. She's like, you would love this.
When I was
Here we
graduating
are.
college, Instagram had just come out and people were using all the weird filters with like the boxes around them. And they were like, here's my food. Like that was Instagram when like
I would love to go back to the OG like Instagram days for like a week of like no one cares about like things being aesthetically
it was
pleasing.
Like, it was like the dumbest stuff that you would
it was
put.
great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Anyway,
Sorry,
this was like before we did advertising on that. And so I interned at a news station and I was like, this is so cool. Like seeing how TV works and short form stories and scripts and just the live feeling of it. And I was like, this gives me a high, like the way dance did. You know, that stage, that performance element. It kind of lit me up and I was like, I want to be a reporter. And I wanted to be a reporter in my hometown so badly in Youngstown. Very Italian, very like, it kind of reminds me of Southside Chicago. It's very like gritty, steel town, you know. Not as cool as Chicago, obviously. But it's always home for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a reporter so bad, and my news director like didn't really believe in me. She was like, "You're too small, and you're gonna have to wear heels everywhere you go, and you're gonna have to."
That's how I feel about heels.
And you're
right
gonna,
there.
you know, you're just gonna have speech lessons, and you don't have a commanding voice. And there was a lot of things, and partially she was right. I look back on it now, I'm like, okay, she was right. I was definitely not ready for this job. But partially I was like, no, she's wrong. I'm gonna do this. You know, I can do this. And I was a producer for years in Marketing Youngstown, Ohio, the NBC affiliate in Youngstown, and then in Columbus, Ohio. And then after that, I left the business. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not a reporter yet. I have this hope of being a reporter, but I'm not. I'm still behind the scenes, which is awesome still. And I like calling the shots, but I knew I had this dream to be the one telling the story and like being that person. And I left the business. I went into marketing and advertising in Columbus. And then I moved to Chicago in 2018. And I always knew when I moved to Chicago that like, I'm going to get into TV again. I just don't know how. Like just get here. The goal was like, just get here and then you'll figure it out.
I will say I'm going to like cut in and like maybe I'm going to give y'all a preview. I don't think people realize how absolutely insane it is that Kacy is doing what she's doing. like truthfully,
No, really,
like
though.
I don't think people realize how like you don't have the quote traditional way of like getting to where you got to. And
I didn't do a bunch of like market moves reporting. Like I did producing and I did some reporting, but like not in the way that people do it.
No, and I think that, and I was like, it was funny, like when I knew we were doing this episode today, I was like, how would I describe Kacy? Because I was like, I want it, because it's like, I think sometimes we don't often see ourselves clearly, and like you are hands down the most determined human being I've ever met.
Thank you.
Truthfully, like, because you are like, oh, that door don't work? Fine. Okay, give me a shovel. Let me create my own pathway to get through this part of the building that has a window, and I'll climb up the wall to get in through the window. Like people just don't have that mindset.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the truth.
I appreciate you saying that and noticing that, because I really just came here. I took a marketing job, and I would moonlight as a reporter. I would do my 9 to 5 as a marketing like social media person, and then I would prop up my Amazon, tripod, clip my phone to like this little crappy little clip, and I would go out there and like shoot stand-ups, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I'm outside the United Center talking about the Big East, I did like the Big Ten basketball tournament, and like it was March, it was freezing, everybody was drunk coming out of the tournament, it was St. Patrick's Day, but I was just like getting practice. I was just like, go make a tape, even if it's fake, even if you don't even know what the heck you're doing. Like, so I just did that, and even like my family was like, what are you doing? Are you trying to be a reporter? Like what? And I was like, just give me some time and this will all make sense.
It's going to make sense.
Yeah. So I just went out there and like faked it till you make it. Like that was my idea. And then I started to call like local area high schools, and I was like, can I like cover your game? I'll do it for free. Can I cover the softball? I would call like minor league baseballs. I did a lot of like pro softball at the time, the NPF that no longer exists. Now it's like Athletes Unlimited. Yeah. But I was just calling different like high schools and going out to different schools. And I was just building a tape basically on my own. And then the more I would like get better and send that to other schools. And then I think I reached out to like UIC and DePaul. And I was like, hi, I'm an up and coming reporter. I'm a big fan of the cold call, like highly recommend the cold call, cold email, like, cause you just never know when you're going to get a yes. Yeah. You just never know. I remember I called UIC and I was like, hi, I literally called them. I didn't even email, I just called. And I said, I'm an up and coming reporter. Do you have any opportunities on your ESPN broadcast for men's college basketball? And they were like, we already have a guy who does it, but he can't make it to this week's game. Are you free? And I was like, yep.
Oh, talk about the stars aligning for you.
I was like, yep, I'll be there. Like, you know, and I just like prepped for the game. It was UIC versus Oakland men's basketball. And like, just right place, right time. And once you do a good job once, they'll call you again. Same thing with DePaul. Like I had covered pro softball, fast pitch. And I got a hold of people at DePaul, and I was like, I'd love to be involved with women's softball here. And they were like, cool, we might give you a shot on our Big East tournament. It's on, it's on FS2. And I was like, FS2? I would kill to be on FS2. Like, and But like even rewinding a little back further, I came to Chicago in 2013 when I graduated college, and we were on like a journalism trip with our class, and we visited the Tribune and NBC Chicago.
So crazy.
And I remember taking a picture outside of NBC Chicago because I'd worked at an NBC affiliate in Youngstown. My graduation cap has the NBC Peacock logo on it because I was like, I'm an NBC girl, like.
Yeah.
And so I remember standing outside of NBC Chicago, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to work here someday. I'm gonna work here someday. And I let it go, and I let that go. And I work there now, which is really cool, and I'm really proud of that. It took 10 more years or whatever, but it's like you have to just like go pursue whatever like lights your soul on fire, even if like people don't get it, even if people question you, even if like it doesn't make sense for a long time.
Yeah.
I think the right doors will open, and DePaul was one of those doors. The Big East Conference is one of those doors. NBC. I'm going all over the place, but basically what I'm saying is I didn't have traditional training to cover sports, and I found a way. And I think that I tell students and people now, there is no cookie cutter path into this business.
No.
Especially now with streaming and TikTok and all the different ways you can get into it.
Yeah.
Just find your niche.
I want to talk about how like the timing of when you and I met and how we became friends, because I think that's really kind of interesting of like how we ended up here too, which I think is pretty cool.
I remember that day, but I don't remember like how it came about.
You and I getting coffee.
Yeah.
I think we literally.
No, I came to the bar, didn't I?
Did you?
I feel like I remember coming to the bar.
I remember what it was. Okay, we met because is it Joe Kelly was doing a
doing a White Sox
He was
event.
doing a meet and greet at the bar in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, do you want to come?
But we had spoken on like Instagram and text before.
Yeah, we had like been friends through social media. And then we went and met him, and it was so funny. I was like, looking back, I'm like, I probably put my foot in my mouth in front of that man. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind I did. But no, what I find so funny was like, at the time I was working for Bally's, and obviously Bally's casino still there, but it was the Bally Sports Network.
Now it's FanDuel.
And now it's FanDuel. And you were at CHGO. I had gotten let go from Bally's in, was it March? Or so, whatever it was, like we got let go from our jobs around similar times.
Yes.
And this was my, God, how many jobs? This was my letting go from my third job in less than 4 years. So like it does a wonder on the soul. And you talk about really testing your faith and being like, is this what I'm supposed to do? But I remember like you and I both like lifting each other up.
Yeah.
And fun story, Kacy and I literally would go and get coffee and apply for unemployment together because we didn't know how to do it.
It's true. I was like, what did you put for this?
I was like, how do we fill this out? But no, I just think it's so funny. And then like we did that, but the whole time you and I would talk about like what we would want to do, and there was never a doubt of like if it was going to happen. It was just like, when are things going to align to make sense?
Right.
And I have always been a believer in like you put the work out there, and then at the end of the day you kind of have to like throw your hands up to be like, okay, God, like you have the wheel, take it away. But I also think it's funny now that like we're here, and this is like, to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is really funny.
It's really
in like
funny.
The best way possible, like
it's good
if
stuff.
only those girls in those coffee shops knew when, that we'd be here for like not even like a year and a half later.
Well, to your point, there's a lot of times in this business, in sports journalism or just journalism in general, where you're like, maybe this isn't for me. Like when I quit years ago, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm going to go do my 9 to 5, but something always brings you back to it if you really are passionate about it. I think that's what it was for both of us. But yes. So we talked about your volleyball journey. We talked about our friendship. Where are we now? I mean, I feel like our upbringings were different but similar. What's funny about Jenna is that when we go anywhere together, and it's every time, she runs into somebody she knows. It's everywhere we go. She's like, oh my God, hi. And it's just like, everybody in this city.
Yeah.
We were at a Bears game.
Oh my God, this is a great story.
We were sitting in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
And Jenna starts talking about her dad, Tom Duddleston. And this guy's like, I know Tom Duddleston. I used to play softball with Tom Duddleston. And I was like, oh my God. Like everywhere we go, you know someone.
I really think people do not understand how small of a town Chicago is. And I try to explain that to, I had like an old teammate from when I played down in Miami. She came, like, she's like lives on an island off of the east coast of Florida, like small town, right? So I was like, hey, I'm just going to give you a warning. Everywhere I go, I'm going to run into someone I know. And she was like, that's adorable. And I was like, I'm just warning you now. We went, I want to say it was after our second night, we went to a Hawks game and we couldn't even walk around the concourse. And she looked at me, she goes, are you the mayor? And I just like, don't know it.
She's the mayor.
And I said, I'm not the mayor, but I will say this. I don't want to be the mayor. I am too brass to be in politics. I am. But I think, again, growing up here, I always knew like doing what I'm doing now would be more meaningful here because of the community that helped me. And I think part of the South Side too is like people on the South Side don't really leave the South Side. And because of, you know, my mom's one of 9. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
I have 21 first cousins. We're all close. We all like each other. The bar is a huge extension too. We've served so many people from the bar. And I also just think too, like I've always been a big believer in like, you know, giving back to the community and where you're from. And like, I don't know, like all of this is so meaningful to me. It means that much more because like I have like my community behind me who's like cheered me on since the beginning when like I started Bar Talk on an Instagram live show and they're like, we don't know what you're doing, but we love it and we're here for it, you know? So I don't know, but everyone knows everyone on the South Side, or you do the whole like, you went to this high school or you know this person. Like it's just very easy to fall down that rabbit hole.
And that's why another reason why I wanted to have you on the show with us is because you have these connections to the local communities, the colleges, like you have a different eye, and we are different in a way. We're the same, but we're also very different. Like I don't know how else to put it, but like I try to be a little bit more like buttoned up.
I'm not.
But you're more brash and
I'm
you're
more brash,
and like just more off the cuff than me, but that works, I think. Because you're just like hilarious on social media. She makes the funniest videos.
Thanks.
And like things I'd be too embarrassed to do, but also like I push her to do them. Like I was like, hey, you should make this video about like the guys from the rugby team.
I was gonna say that
thirst
was
traps.
that only. So okay,
It's like stuff I want to do but won't do, and I let her do it.
I think we should talk about that because that moment really like changed my life in a lot of ways.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you, thank you so much. But yeah, I had a video go viral in June, right? It was funny because I'm a big believer in like when you close one door, another one opens, and that was the last day of my time at the Score. That was my last day. Like, and then we went to the rugby game that night, and then all the doors opened for rugby. But Kacy had said to me, she's like, you should totally make a thirst trap. And I was like, oh, Kace, it just seems so tacky, man. Like, I don't know, girl. Like, because again, like, taking a little.
We were kind of joking. You're like, I'm here to find a husband, and you weren't really, but
not
like,
really.
It's funny.
But I mean, it would be nice. But no. But no, I said to you, I was like, because there's this line of like, I think being in this industry too, of like, I tend to be obviously more on the goofy side, and I love to use my like that personality to my favor. But you also want to be professional too, and you don't want to like cross that line or like offend anyone by any means. And I'm like, oh God, how? And I just did it because you were like, we found the right audio, which was the perfect audio, and it was, and daddy is a state of mind. Don't worry, I'm your daddy.
Be your father figure.
Put your dad. But it was perfect. Yeah. And then we ran into the owner, and this very large English man said to, first off, the fact that we were able to like talk to an owner of a professional sports team, like on the field, which is still crazy to me. And his exact words verbatim, and I'm going to do it in my best British accent, was, we must objectify the men more. We are not making nearly enough thirst traps. We must objectify the men. And I was like...
Because he knew it gets the team publicity. He knew that it would help.
But my jaw was on the floor.
Yeah,
and then I was like, yeah, coach, I made one for you. But no, like, I think you and I do a great job of like pushing each other a little bit outside of our comfort zone.
For
because
sure.
that was like...
Well, it's because I want to do it, but I feel like I can't. So I'll like, I will push my ideas like that to her because I know she'll do it. We talked about sports.
Yep.
What is a mantra or philosophy that you live by? I know you have a lot of them, but what's like your top one?
Oh my God, that's so hard. Top mantra that I live by. Oh, okay, I'll do this one. This is probably, it's written on my refrigerator, and it's the 4 agreements. And the one agreement is to never take anything personal, which is really hard, which is really, really hard. But I have this belief that no one thinks about you as much as you think about you.
It's true.
So if no one thinks about you as much as you think about you, no one is going out of their way to hurt your feelings or be vindictive. Unfortunately, sometimes when we make decisions, it is just the byproduct of potentially hurting someone else, even though that's not the intention. In what we do, I have had to learn that nothing is personal.
Right.
Like me not getting the job, someone not answering back to me, them forgetting to follow up. Like it has literally zero.
It's so hard to think that.
I know that.
I'm always like, they hate me. It's me.
Well, and I think I got to a point where, and this goes back to everything that happened to me in Miami, like I got to such a low point in my life that I like didn't like myself. And I did like a lot of therapy and working on myself and getting to a place where I felt good with me, that I was like, I love me.
Yeah.
And I didn't love me. And so because I'm now at a place where I'm like, Jenna's good with Jenna. The rest, it doesn't, like, if it doesn't happen, okay.
Yeah.
I have faith because, like, you know, I thought I was going to spend 4 years in Miami. Thank God I didn't. You know,
It
thought
all makes sense.
It all makes sense. And I think there is that faith of like, if it's not this, it's something better. Actually, that's probably my other mantra.
You always tell me that.
If it's not this, it's something better. Yeah, that's probably my biggest.
I love it.
It's one of those two, I'd say.
Okay.
I have a lot of isms.
You do.
You know this about me.
Yes.
I don't mean to. It just
No,
kind of,
it's good.
They just kind of roll off. They just kind of roll off. Okay, so then tell me really quick, how did you like know you wanted to do sports? Because like I relate to you on the writing. Like I was a big writer as a kid and loved like pen to paper. But when you knew you loved the, you know, kind of the lights, camera, action, how did you know that it was sports that you wanted to do? Because going back to what your first producer said, like, it is silly that they were like, you're too small to be in it. Like, that sounds so insane. But you are petite, you are tiny. So like there is this sense of like, how do I make myself big in this industry where you could be surrounded by giants sometimes?
Well, sure. I don't think I'm ever going to work in the NBA, but we'll see.
Hey, never say never. Never say never. Yeah.
But it's really cool now to get to cover Bears games, Cubs playoff games, like be in the postseason, like getting to do my dream.
Yeah.
But I got here because I grew up loving sports. I played softball before I became a dancer, cheerleader. I grew up with my dad and my younger brother who loved sports and played. They were golfers, basketball, baseball. I mean, everything except for football, but they loved football too. And growing up watching Cleveland baseball with my dad, watching football with my dad, watching my brother's games when he played baseball, I was like, okay, I could still be a reporter and do sports and it not be so depressing, because the news got really depressing. It still is. But you know what I mean? Like, I would read like affidavits and like crime stories, and like I found myself producing, like kind of like hoping something bad would happen. I'd be like, yes, we can fill our show now. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm not even human anymore. Like, why am I like immune to this feeling of kind of like hoping for bad news so that you could fill your show? That wasn't a good feeling. So switching to sports was much healthier for me, and it made me feel like, okay, there's meaning behind this. I could tell stories of triumph or tribulations, like just all of that, like the good and the bad, but it's not always life or death. Sometimes it is, but I just loved the idea of doing that instead. So freelanced a lot for different networks, different teams, just kind of got as much experience as I could. And then, I had enough experience that NBC was like,
nice.
Covered a lot of high school sports too. So it's been great. I love it. But I love that sports bring people together, and it can be surrounded by entertainment or news or social issues, and it could still be sports.
It's the ultimate unifier.
Yeah.
And I do think too, like I listened to, Sonia, help me out. Who's the guy that is Captain America's right-hand man?
She's like, I should probably already know this.
He just played the new Captain America.
Bucky Barnes?
Say it again.
Bucky Barnes.
Not Bucky.
The
Oh my God. He was in 8 Mile. He.
oh my gosh.
Oh my
what's
God.
the
I see
actor's
his
name?
face. I can't think of his name.
He has like a little tooth gap, right?
Slightly. Yes.
Yeah.
Handsome.
Oh my gosh.
Handsome.
I just remembered the show I was thinking of, Mary
Very
Tyler Moore
handsome.
show.
It was the.
Anthony Mackie.
Yes, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So
don't know
Anthony
the character
Mackie
name,
was
but-
just on Ryan Clark's podcast. And by just on, I mean back in February. It was during the Super Bowl. So not just on, sorry. But it was a great episode. And one of the things that Anthony Mackie said was that the one thing he loves the most about sports is like, sports is determined purely on who is the best of the best. And that's not often the case in some industries. Like, and he was talking about it specifically in like his industry of like entertainment, how, you know, it's very like that person's going to be the best today because we say it. And even if they aren't,
Right.
that's, you know, who like they kind of push onto you. But sports has that ability of like, you get to see out of the men and women that are playing, like who rises to the occasion, what adversity do they overcome. And even if you're not in the same shoes, there is this bit of confidence that you get, I think, from just being around these people, and then you get inspired by them.
Sure.
And that's what I kind of love about what we do is like we get to see the inspiration firsthand and really get to the nitty gritty of who people are. And like you hope that the questions that we ask, the stories that we tell, and our ability to make people feel comfortable, like can make people be excited about like, hey, I didn't think I could relate to that person, or I didn't know that what they went through, I went through. And like,
Right.
maybe I can get over or overcome this because they did it too, you
right.
know?
Especially seeing how women's sports have grown and just the stuff that athletes go through, mental health, whatever it might be. It's cool to get to tell those stories and speak on it on a different level.
Yeah.
Some fun questions before we wrap things up.
Yeah.
Favorite interview moment, quickly,
With DePaul or for me?
for and whatever
Ooh,
in your career thus far.
I will say Paul Konerko. I know
I
this
knew you were
is-
gonna pick
okay,
this.
because I didn't realize when I had interviewed him, he had only done 2 podcasts, and I was the 3rd podcast that
Yeah.
he's done. And like,
And you got like some tea out of him.
and I had a guy that helped me. So like that's, you know, back to, and honestly, it was back to the neighborhood. It was someone from the neighborhood. Of
course it
who
was.
loved watching Bar Talk, loved what I did, said, I know so-and-so who knows Paul. I'd love to
Yeah.
connect you guys. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I felt like a 13-year-old girl again who was like, oh, and I told him, I said, I'm going to be like 13 for a second, and then I'm going to be an adult. But like, you don't understand what you don't understand what you mean.
In 2005.
Yeah, in 2005. Like, it was the greatest time of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I can still hear the home run of him
Yeah.
doing like all of those things. But he was great, and he was so incredible. And again, like when it was done, I was like, Jenna, I can't believe you just did that. But
Yeah,
like, I
it's so
can't
cool.
believe you just did that. That was awesome.
was
So,
so cool.
definitely Paul Konerko.
I love it.
Yeah. Who's yours?
Oh, that's so tough. I've had a lot of good ones. I have to go to this year. Interviewing Pete Crow Armstrong was really
Yeah.
cool because I feel like I grabbed him right before he kind of hit his stride and became like
The guy.
the superstar that he is. And, you know, like ebbs and flows in baseball, but he really had kind of picked up steam and like got hot right as I interviewed him. So to get that exclusive was really cool, to get to talk to him about his career. He's only 23 years old and
Yeah.
he's just such a passionate Cubs player. Like he loves being a Cub. He wants to do well for that team so bad. When they just lost Game 5, I was in the clubhouse. He was like tears in his eyes, like crying. And so it was tough to see him like know that it was over. And you got to remember too, he's still like young.
I
Like,
was
he's
gonna
23.
say,
Of course, he's really emotional about this.
Yeah.
So that was a cool get to have a one-on-one with him in the dugout, just to be able to showcase what he was doing for the team.
Amazing.
Jenna, who is your favorite Chicago athlete, and is there a memory attached to that?
I have 2. Yeah, I have 2.
Let me guess.
Oh, guess. Oh, this is a good game. Guess.
Is Derrick Rose one of them?
No, but that
Oh,
is
okay.
a great guess.
Okay, I thought
I
you were
do
gonna
love
pick
D
Derrick.
Rose. I do love
Okay.
D Rose. Oh my God, that era of basketball was so much fun.
Yeah.
No, my 2, Paul Konerko is like one of my favorite athletes of all times, and then the captain, Jonathan Tays. I love that man.
You got to see him back on the ice recently.
Oh my God, when I tell you I was so emotional, like, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like I relate to him in a lot of ways, and I also don't.
Sure.
But there is, it's like I literally go speechless thinking about him because he's like one of, I want to say, Sonia, if you can Google this for me,
Yeah.
I think he's one of the youngest people to ever be a captain in the NHL.
Give me his name one more time.
Jonathan Toews. It's spelled like toes.
Toews.
But what's fun about Toews is like we were not a hockey town. Like I don't think people understand like the way that hockey was. It was for the people who could afford tickets, who were wealthy, who could play hockey. Like it wasn't something that was really easily accessible. And then when they got Toews and Kane that year, it was like you were either Kane, like, and again, me and Fran, one of my really good friends, I'm literally, I'm like Jonathan Toews and she's Patrick Kane and she's in my phone as Patrick Kane. So like,
Here, I have your fact for you.
yes.
At 20 years old and 79 days, he became the third youngest team captain in NHL history,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I'm 20 in about 79 days, and I'm like leading a team of a bunch of like grizzly 35-year-old men.
I love it.
Sounds
Yeah.
Like
See?
maybe my worst fear.
But-
Yeah.
So shout out Jonathan Toews.
See?
Shout out
Yeah.
Toews. Like, and I just think that like, I actually, in my freshman year of college, I used, because I always felt like I was a leader when I played and I was always kind of the captain. And I remember the team that I was on my freshman year, there wasn't really leadership, it felt like. And so I'm trying to step up, but like at the same time, who wants to take a freshman serious?
Right.
And I remember saying to my coach, I used Jonathan Toews as an example. I said, "Do you know who Jonathan Toews is?" And he's like, "No." And in my head, I'm like, first off, that's your first mistake. Second off, I was like, second off. And I told him, I said, he's one of the youngest captains to ever, be in the NHL.
Yeah.
And like, a leadership is not defined by how old you are. It's defined by your character.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm sorry. I could literally go on tangents about these two. I just love them so
No,
much.
it's great.
Yeah.
I love
Are,
that.
okay. So I feel like, do you have a favorite Chicago athlete and a favorite Cleveland athlete?
Yeah, this is hard for me because I didn't grow up here. But
Yeah.
as far as Chicago athletes, I grew up loving Scottie Pippen. Like I was like, this guy rocks.
That's-
Like, you know what I
I would
mean?
never
And
expect
it's
you to
not
love
MJ. I
Scottie
always feel like the
Pippen.
sidekick. You know what I mean? Scottie was like, I think I had a 33 jersey. Like I think I had his jersey as a kid, or my brother did, and I wore it. I don't remember, but
Okay.
I feel like I was a Pippen fan. And as a baseball lover, as a baseball girly, I think Greg Maddux was awesome too. Like pitcher for the
Yeah.
Cubs, number 31, 92 NL Cy Young winner. Like he was just cool,
Yeah.
So, but it's hard for me because I grew up in Ohio and I grew up a Cleveland baseball fan, and I have photos with like Kenny Lofton and Omar Vizquel and like Jim Thome, like the guys from like
Oh,
the 90s.
Thome.
Yeah.
Mr.
White
Incredible.
Sox, right. So it's tough, but I have such appreciation for Chicago athletes
Yeah.
because they're just like held on this pedestal. And I mean, watching The Last Dance.
Oh my
like,
God.
It premiered on my birthday during COVID.
What a birthday gift.
April 19th during COVID. And I was just so excited to like learn more about that era of basketball in Chicago and just, I don't know, it's just cool. But I have such an appreciation for it. I think it's tough when I interview a lot of them. It's hard to pick a favorite because
Yeah.
you're just like,
Well,
well, I'm
and-
just rooting for good stories.
Well,
I'm
and
rooting
part
for
of it
good.
too is like once you start to get to know some of the people, you're like
Yeah.
you become fans of people.
Yeah.
Like you're just fans of like I want the people that I'm fans of to just like
right.
do awesome.
Right. You kind of lose the starstruck thing and you kind of just care for them as a person.
I will say, okay, here's a funny. I do not get starstruck. I
I
really.
used to, but now I don't because I work in this all the time.
I think I haven't because of being in this into working in the service industry.
Yeah.
Where to me, I'm like, respectfully, like, I don't really care. I'm going to give everyone the same service.
Right.
And like, we all put our pants on the same way. Like we all so like, I just, it's never bothered me. There's been one time in my life I've ever gotten starstruck.
And that was who?
And that was seeing the back of Brian Urlacher's bald head in Target.
That's amazing.
I screamed.
I have one starstruck moment too.
Who?
Two.
Two?
Because I think these two athletes are just larger than life. And one of them was LeBron James.
Fair. That's
Larger than
completely
life.
fair. Yeah.
Huge man.
Yeah.
And the other one is Tiger Woods.
Those are like two. Yeah. Okay.
I've never seen when Tiger, like before he's getting older now and kind of not playing golf as much.
Was this pre or post the beating of the wife beating his car up?
I think this was post that.
Okay. Different
He's
era.
still jacked.
He's still
right?
jacked.
He's huge. Tiger Woods is huge. If you see him in person at a golf tournament, you're like, oh my God, he's massive. and I've also met A-Rod before. I wasn't a fan of him as a person, but another massive, glowing human being. Like when you see them, you're just like, like
Whoa.
you feel like there's like that little aura around them. Like, you know how like the angel, like you see that in real life. I know it sounds weird, but
No,
like
it's not weird.
Tiger Woods feels like that to me. A-Rod felt like that to me, and LeBron James.
Interesting.
So I was a little starstruck around them,
Okay.
just to be like,
Those are
near
also
them.
like 3 athletes, I think, that are in a very different level and category of their own,
100%.
which makes sense why
they're
you would see
superstars.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Last question.
Okay.
We've clearly talked way too long.
Sorry,
but we
guys.
could talk all night.
Yep.
3 things you would need on a desert island. 3 things. This is hard.
Oh my God, this is so hard. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna make a cheat.
Okay.
I don't have this, but I would bring this, and it would be a Kindle so I could read books.
I was gonna say books. You're gonna
It
pick
would be a
books for
Kindle
sure.
so I could read books.
One of your Court of Thrones books.
Oh my God, I love them so much. I can't even pick my. No, Throne of Glass. That series changed my
Okay.
life. I think about Elaine Galithanakis way too often. Literally once a day. I think about her once a day. Okay, so I'm bringing my Kindle. I am also bringing. Oh my God, 3 things.
This is hard.
This is so hard. Okay, I'm gonna do music. I'm gonna bring a vinyl. I'm going to bring Amy Winehouse's album Back to
Ooh,
Black.
that's a great album.
And there's not enough food. I would, because in my head I'm like, do I bring my kitchen to cook? I can't do that.
Assuming you're gonna be fine with food.
Okay,
What else
we're
would you
Yeah,
fine
bring?
this
with
is
food.
assuming
Okay,
like
you have
you
food,
have all
water.
your essentials.
Right.
You're just away from society.
Oh, fantastic! That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We love being off the grid.
We love it. Probably my phone so I can doom scroll TikTok.
Can't give that up.
I
And that's
can't.
very valid.
I am chronically online. It is a good thing,
really
and it is a
hard.
bad thing.
I'm similar as you. I'm bringing a movie. I'm bringing The Holiday. Because it
Oh my
never gets
God.
old.
Oh my God, any Nancy Meyers movie
Because
literally
it
just lights my soul
never
on fire.
gets old.
It's the best
I
movie.
can watch it all the time.
Me too. Doesn't matter the season. I'll watch it.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I'm bringing like an ELO vinyl, like Electric Light Orchestra, like something like classic that's like never going out of style because I
Okay.
love their music. And the third thing,
Oh, I know. Wait, I take my last answer back.
you're not bringing the phone.
No,
What
I
do you
gotta bring my dog. I gotta bring
I
Sunday.
probably should bring my dog Bernie.
I was like, you're gonna bring Bernie. I need to bring Sunday.
I don't know. I could maybe no. I
Oh my
love
God,
him.
no.
I would.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I need to bring the dog. He would have so much fun. Sunday would have a blast on the
Yeah,
island.
those are hard questions.
Those are really hard.
Anyway, it was great to get to know more about you. Even though I knew some of those things, it was
know.
good to rehear those stories. And I hope we didn't bore everybody at
Yeah.
home listening. But great to have you on the show with us this season.
I'm so
glad
happy.
to have you, especially when I had Cubs playoffs and you did a solo episode, which was I'm really grateful for
Yeah.
you to step in that way.
No, it's been so much fun, and I love that. I feel it's so interesting, like us doing this together, because you and I are so different, but I feel like we're a really good yin and yang to
Yeah,
each other in
definitely.
a lot of ways. And I hope that you, the viewers, listeners, kind of enjoy the difference of Kacy
Yeah.
and I, and that, you know, we, at the end of the day, like, we have a common goal and a common interest of like wanting to just get the best and share the stories that
Yeah.
we can. And
We've had some great guests so far.
we have, and we're just getting started.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Stay tuned. But thank you so much for having me and
Of
thinking about
course.
me. And you know, everyone's been the best here. And just know, guys, that the next episode you will have a DePaul person for you. I know you're probably rolling your eyes, or maybe you appreciated this, whichever one works best for you. But no, I had a lot of fun getting to know a little bit more about you. And
Yeah,
we're just getting started.
I know. I love it. It's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you to Jenna Duddleston. I'm Kacy Standahar, our entire team behind us that makes this show happen. We cannot do it without you guys. But we will see you soon on another episode of the Blue Demon Room.